we're going to go over 10 pieces of the most unhinged, absolutely insane Star Wars lore. But we're going to split it up into 3 different categories. So the first category is going to be, let's call it pretty unhinged lore. Nothing too crazy. This is like the mild. This is like the starter. This is like the appetizer, okay? Then we'll get into really crazy stuff. There's a couple of things in here that I bet will shock. And then we will ultimately get to absolutely fucking insane, nutso, what the fuck, I can't believe this is real pieces of lore. I sent Theory this list, but I left off 2 items, 2 of the most unhinged pieces of Star Wars lore that I have personally come across. He does not know what they are. They are not on the list. And so when we get into those final 3, that's going to be cool. And I think you're going to like it. All right, so let's start with a pretty chill, easy one. Jaxxon. Do you know, Theory, first question, do you know Jaxxon? Have you ever experienced any Jaxxon?
Jaxxon?
Yeah, Jaxxon. Do you know who this is? You know about this guy?
Oh, this dude. Freaking Roger Rabbit.
Yeah. So Jaxxon, guys, is 100% canon to Star Wars Legends. I don't know if they've ever, I guess Filoni could technically bring him in or whatever. But Jaxxon is literally a 6-foot-tall green rabbit that dresses in like this orange basic Star Wars thing here. And he's absolutely canon. I'll read this little summary here. Nearly 6-foot-tall, green-furred Leppy smuggler and captain of Rabbit's Foot, known for his wisecracks and high kicks, Jaxxon has helped Han Solo and Chewbacca out on more than one occasion.
They do that in Star Wars sometimes. They come up with these like random characters and they throw them in there into the comics or whatever it might be and leave them there.
Yeah, so this comes from, I guess, the Marvel Star Wars comics when they first started doing it. And I wonder what the idea was, right? Like, because it feels Bugs Bunny. I looked at some of the comics. He has almost a Deadpool. Yeah. He almost like has like a Deadpool kind of a vibe. What would you think about Jaxxon becoming canon?
I'd rather not.
You don't think so? You don't think it'd be cool?
No, I don't want a bunny.
I think if you do a cantina scene, okay, you got a cantina scene and you're just panning through. You know what I mean? You're just coming through. Maybe it's a show, maybe it's a new movie or something like that. And you're panning. I would not hate a couple of green ears. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like just coming over the top of somebody. Like, yeah, I'm kind of down with it. I mean, we got the werewolf homie. You got the werewolf man. There's weirder shit, as we're about to find out. There's a lot.
Well, I mean, there's alien shit. Yeah, there's alien shit. But I mean, yeah, this is a little too on the nose for Bugs Bunny.
I kind of had heard of Jaxxon. I
feel like Jaxxon. I was like Jaxxon what?
Well, we're gonna get there, dude. We're gonna get there. We'll go ahead and we'll go to number 9. Now, this is going to be one that a lot of people know about. You probably know about this one too, Theory. And this would be the death of Chewbacca. Have you read this book? Do you know about this lore?
The death of Chewbacca. Yeah, he died in NJO, which was I think it was a stupid decision.
I watched a couple of videos on this. I watched some interviews. Prime. Yeah, apparently. So this was all during a time. Yeah, it was in Vector Prime. This was all during a time where they were trying to like revitalize the publishing arm of Lucasfilm. And there was even a commercial. I don't know if you remember this. There was a commercial on the Sci-Fi Channel that had Mark Hamill's voice. Okay. And it literally talked about how he had this adventure. He didn't know if they were going to be able to survive this one or whatever. Right. And it like hyped up these books at NJO. James Luceno forms like a story group of these writers. And I think they tell this story. It goes 19 books in 4 years. And it's like, basically one of the last publishing initiatives of Lucasfilm before Disney, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of like interesting canon was that. So at the time, James Luceno was looking for a really big character to kill off because he wanted something that was going to be impactful. He wanted to like shake up the Star Wars fandom. And there was some Star Wars novels at the time that were selling well that were kind of on the darker side, right? And so they kind of almost take it in this dark direction. George tells them no because they originally wanted to kill off Luke Skywalker. And I thought that was really interesting, man. Like they want to kill Luke, right?
That's so
and
stupid.
It's like even back in 99, which would have been 26 years ago, George was like, no.
So in the 80s, they were talking about when they were making Jedi, they were talking about killing off Luke. And George was like, no, you don't do that. You don't kill off the main character because you alienate your audience.
Exactly.
Just for shock value, or like
Exactly.
he's like that's ridiculous. I'm not doing that. It just seems like these, yeah.
Isn't it ironic though?
Everybody else wants to kill off Luke, except for the guy who created Luke.
And dude, I think that James Luceno's a great writer. You know what I mean? But it kind of goes back to this thing of like, so his instinct comes from the place of writer, not necessarily like legacy holder of epic fairy tale modern mythology, right? So like George is just looking at it through a different lens. But I thought that was so interesting that like even in 99, 26 years ago, the person that's trying to build, because it's like very similar. I mean, NJO is very similar to like Disney gets Star Wars and they're like, yo, let's cook. Like, what are we going to cook up? It's very similar. The NGO guys and James Luceno were like, what are we going to cook up for the next part of this story? And they're like, we need a big thing. You know, we need a big thing. Let's kill Luke Skywalker. Or Kathy says, like, let's shit on Luke Skywalker and then kill him, right?
Kill him, yeah.
But yeah. So it's just funny that, like, even back then, you know, George was like, no. Now, he said, you cannot kill, from what I've researched, he said to them, you cannot kill any of the main characters, the main three, like the main. Yeah. But everybody else is an open season. So then they decide to go with Chewbacca. So how much do you know about the death of Chewbacca?
It was stupid. They left him on that planet, and then the freaking moon collapsed on his ass.
Yeah.
And he died.
Yeah.
He died to save Han and his son.
Yes, to save Anakin. Yes. So the whole so this was something fans hated, guys. You know what I mean? Many of you guys were not there. And to be honest, like I wasn't really there. I wasn't like really engaged in it. But this was pretty controversial and people were pretty mad about it. So what happens is the moon, this is the introduction of like the Yuuzhan Vong and like this coming war and this big crazy conflict. And so the Vong figure out a way to basically get this moon to just like start to slam into the planet. And they go there and they're trying to like figure it out. And they're trying to do all of this stuff. And then Han's son, Anakin, ends up screwing up, and Chewie has to go like save him in the end, but Chewie cannot save both himself and Anakin, and so he makes this big heroic sacrifice. And then there's this really funny part in the book where Chewie, like the moon is fucking crashing into Chewie,
and he's like screaming. He's like,
yeah, dude, yes, which is, I mean, that's been memed on to death because it's the silliest, stupidest, but also, you know, kind of, I don't know, badass chat. Like, is this, I don't know. I mean, it's
not badass. It's stupid. I don't like how he died.
It's pretty silly.
I think he would have been more interesting if he had survived throughout.
I mean, it's definitely, so from what I understand, and I have not read a lot of Han at that time, but it really, from what I understand, it really hurts the Han character because Han without Chewie is a very difficult thing to write. It's like a piece of him's missing. He's really depressed. And he also does, obviously, you would have problems with Anakin. You know, you would have some issues with your son for kind of fucking up and getting your best friend killed. Mm-hmm. So there's interesting stuff there. And I understand why the writers do it and want to do it. But to this day, guys, it goes down as a super unhinged piece of Star Wars lore, a super big piece of lore that a lot of fans did not like, and the 9th on our list of 10 pieces of unhinged Star Wars lore. Next up, theory, Skippy. Skippy the droid. What do you know about Skippy, brother?
Oh, he's a bitch. Okay.
So Skippy is an astromech droid that has force sensitivity.
You're talking about R5?
Well, he is an R5 droid, yes. So Skippy is...
Talking about the Legends thing, aren't you?
Yes. So Skippy is a absolutely ridiculous Legends invention. I'm pretty sure he's from Star Wars Tales number 1, 1999. I believe it's a Peter David comic book. A force-sensitive droid that in this comic book was made to literally blow out a gasket. Oh my God, let's go.
His visions began to intensify. Where he saw Luke,
damn, look at that vision.
Eventually, the sandcrawler stopped. The Jawas took out all the droids, lined them up side by side in front of Owen and Luke.
Fuck, my videos used to be so much better. He's force sensitive, and R5 realized that Luke chose him, and so he decided to like self-destruct, like blow a gasket or whatever, because he knew he could see into the future, and he knew that R2 had Obi-Wan's message, had Leia's message in it, and this would lead Luke down on the path to essentially like save the galaxy. or be the
Dude,
catalyst for.
That's what it is. So he is R5 that blows the gasket on purpose
Yeah,
to like get R2 to be the hero.
yeah, man. Yeah, because he's like, no, R2 should be the one that they choose.
Yo, he's the real hero. Have you heard of the Sun Crusher super weapon?
Oh, tell me.
The Sun Crusher. Here, I'll pull up a cool picture of it here. So the Sun Crusher is an interesting super weapon that's in the Jedi Academy series. Here, let me pull this over here. Hang on. Is a super weapon from the Jedi Academy trilogy. Okay.
Yeah, this thing's ridiculous.
Yeah. So this thing's ridiculous, guys. So
this is stupid.
It's pretty stupid, but also kind of fucking awesome. This is what I like about unhinged lore, right? Like,
Zoom it in.
Because it's like wild and zoom it in. Okay.
Enlarge that baby. There we go.
There we go. Check this out, baby. So look, man, this was a weird ass double Dutch fucking destroyer of worlds, but as opposed to the super weapon of like the Death Star or like the Death Star 2 or even J.J. Abrams, what was it, Starkiller Base or whatever?
Yeah.
This thing, guys, the writers of this Jedi Academy series, they were like, no, that's not good enough. Do you know what this fucking thing does? This thing goes into suns or blasts suns. I'm actually not sure which, probably blast them now that I think about it. And it causes the sun to fucking supernova. So it doesn't just kill the planet. It supernovas a fucking star, which destroys everything in the solar system and probably fucks up stuff around the solar system as well. So if anybody ever tells you that, like, you know, Star Killer was the craziest super weapon, or like, you know, it may be super weapons themselves were not that prevalent in Star Wars. No, they really were. They were kind of a thing. And the Sun Crusher is maybe one of the most unhinged and crazy pieces of super weapon Star Wars lore that there's ever been. What do you think about this thing, man?
I think it's ridiculously overpowered. What was the thing from the Old Republic? Knights of the Old Republic?
The Starforge, maybe?
Yes.
Was that it? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that thing was also pretty insane.
Yeah,
so it's like in comparison, the Death Star is like nothing. It's like, ooh, one planet. Oh no.
Yeah, but doesn't this kind of seem like overkill? Like, to be honest with you,
yeah,
like,
it does.
This seems a little like,
You're just gonna destroy the whole freaking galaxy, the whole solar system. Like, what?
Yeah, and I just think like, goddamn. I mean, what is that? What kind of
Literally, it's like an apocalypse.
Like what kind of? It just seems like so goddamn ridiculous. Like the most over the top. Like this is like the ex-girlfriend that keys the car. You know what I mean? Like this is like.
Oh, it's so funny you say. I was
way over top.
Something came up the other day where it was like some dude was eating like fries or some shit, and he was watching his ex like just on top of his car with a bat, like just
dude, right? Like
you're just going crazy on it.
That's what this is. This is this weapon is too powerful. Like nobody is going to trust anybody in a government that has access to this. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So this thing just doesn't. It cannot exist. It's kind of crazy that they let them do this in the book. You know what I mean?
Does it fly away after destroying a star?
That's a great point.
It just blows itself up.
Yeah, maybe it's a one-time use only kind of a thing. I got to be honest, I didn't look that far into it.
The Sun Crusher.
The Sun Crushers. Kind of a crazy little piece of Star Wars lore for you, chat. Let's go to this next one. This is going to be fun. So we've already discussed Splinter of the Mind's Eye, okay? The thing about Splinter of the Mind's Eye, there's a couple of things that make it pretty fucking unhinged, chat. But let's do a little TLDR kind of summary thing of like what was actually going on at the time. So this apparently, from what the research that I've done, because Alan Dean Foster is actually a really incredible author, right? So it's kind of wild that he got this book done. And then remember there was a Star Wars novel that technically came out before the movie. Like I forget what it was called. It was just
Splinter
like
of the Mind's Eye.
No. Like I'm talking about before the first movie.
Oh,
there was a Star Wars book that came out like a couple of months before the actual New Hope in 77. But regardless, it just shows a pattern that George was like working with these really big authors to try to build up as a part of the canon or whatever you want to call it, right? So this time period, they're not sure that they're going to get the budget to do the next movie. And so what this book essentially was supposed to be a low budget sequel to Star Wars that they could make for a very cheap budget if things went bad and George had to like make this on his own, right? That's like the stories I've heard of like basically what it is. And it happens before a lot of retcons and things change, right? So the whole Vader and Luke and Leia being brother and sister and Vader being the father, all of that stuff comes in later, right? So that makes for very awkward moments in the book where there's some romantic scenes with Luke and Leia. And let me read some lines from this book just to give you a feel. Just to give you a feel here, chat, because you guys don't read and you're not gonna go pick up this fucking book, let's be honest. So here's a portion here. The other, Leia, whenever he looked at her, the other caused emotions to boil within him like soup too long on the fire. No matter if she was separated from him by near vacuum as at present or by only an arm's length in the conference room. Awkwardly pressed up against him, the princess seemed to take no notice of their proximity. In the dampness through her body heat was near palpable to Luke. What heat was near palpable to Luke, and he had to force himself to keep his attention on what he was doing. Disheveled and caked with mud from the waist down.
Caked up.
She was still beautiful.
Damn, bro.
There's more. It was not the face of a princess and a senator or a leader of the Rebel Alliance, but instead that of a chilled child, moistly parted in sleep. Her lips seemed to beckon to him. He leaned closer, seeking refuge from the damp green and brown of the swamp.
Wait, what?
In
Did you
the
say chilled child?
Redness.
What the fuck?
There's more. There's more.
The fuck?
She put her hands on the seal curved hips, cocked her head to one side, and stared meaningfully at him. Oh, he murmured, half smiling. He turned away and continued undressing.
What?
There's more. Hang on. He thought furiously. No, she's, I bought her. Leia twitched, stared at him in a moment before returning resolutely to her food. Yes, she's a servant of mine. Spent all my earnings on her. Her shoulders shook, but she was the best I could afford. And she's kind of amusing to have around, though she tends to get out of line at times, and I have to slap her down. Now, let me explain this one, because this one's really fucking crazy, dude.
What?
I'm so glad you let me do this shit.
Holy shit, dude.
All right, yo.
I can't watch anymore.
Yo. Okay, let me explain, chat. So this is at a part in the story where they're at a bar, they're at like a cantina thing, okay? And they're pretending to be minors, okay? And some Imperials, all right? Some Imperials are noticing them and questioning them, okay? And Luke has this genius fucking idea to slap the shit out of Leia to like fit in with the Imperials and shit. And so then like the Imperials come over and they're like, they notice that like he's got callous hands because he's a farmer and he like works the farm and shit, but she has princess hands. Okay. And they're like, what the fuck is up with these princess hands? And he's like, yo, don't worry. She's my slave, dog. Like, I'm one of you. Like, she gets out of hand. Gotta slap the bitch up. You know what I mean? Let's tell you, here's what I'll say. The ending of the fucking story is actually really stupid too, because what ends up happening is Luke cuts off Vader's arm, and then Vader literally trips over his own arm into a fucking pit.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. That's how that shit ends. So this is pretty fucking unhinged, guys. So if anybody ever asks you, like, I don't know, Star Wars, like, seems for children or whatever, just tell them about this crazy unhinged piece of lore here. Have you heard of Beldorion, the Hutt Jedi?
Take a look at that.
Take it. Oh, you got him. Hey, nice. Okay, perfect. All right, cool. I can stop
3
checking
years
that.
ago. 3 years
Yeah,
ago.
dude. This dude is wild.
The Dark Jedi Hutt. Now, Hutts
Yup.
weren't entirely evil. No matter what's
Still hopeful, bro.
You still hopeful. Yeah, you still have.
Still happy.
some of the galaxy's residents would say about them, but it seemed whenever murder or enslavement were the easy
And he ends up like using his Jedi stuff to take over a planet, and kind of becomes like a Sith Lord or whatever. But he loses a lot of his Force ability. The one thing that I thought was kind of funny about the character was he gets jacked. Like he looks really muscular, which is wild because this new Hutt, right, in Mando Grogu is supposed to be jacked too, and I was like, what the fuck is this? But he's Force sensitive, and he uses the Force, I guess, to make his muscles stronger. And he doesn't actually use the Force like other people do. Basically, Leia finds him. I believe she ends up fighting him in a lightsaber duel, which is pretty goddamn ridiculous. But yeah, a fucking Jedi Hutt.
It's
I
not
think
terrible.
it's not that bad. It's not that crazy. I do think though it's when you look at the images of it, it seems pretty unhinged. Like the actual depiction of the Hutt using the saber is pretty fucking ridiculous.
It's hilarious.
You know? Yeah, it's hilarious. It doesn't look like that's not.
Show me in Waves video on it.
Yeah, dude. Like, look at this fucking guy, dude. He's crazy looking.
Yeah.
So for that, I put him in the middle category because I was like, yeah, no, he's pretty fucking wild. And also, you're telling me none of the Jedi saw this Hutt going dark side? Like, come on, man. Like,
I mean, yeah, come on.
I'm not trying to be generalist about the aliens, right? But like the Hutts, man, like, come on. You should not have let a Hutt into the Jedi Order. So
No,
for that, he gets
Never.
the number on the list. Next up, brother, Mount Sorrow. Are you familiar with Mount Sorrow? Do you know what this is?
The fucking, yeah, the crying mountain.
Yeah. So Mount Sorrow is a really goofy invention from an animated Ewok show. It was basically a big fucking mountain that was depressed like Eeyore.
Mm-hmm.
And it was constantly depressed and would occasionally become so depressed that it would cry. And its tears would heal people. Its tears had healing properties.
Mm-hmm.
So this goofy fucking thing was canon to Legends. It's literally a sentient mountain that is also depressed. I mean, that's pretty fucking unhinged. Can you imagine if this just popped up in a fucking Star Wars movie? Like, we just come over the cliff and there's just this fucking like mountain puppet. Like,
just
George
crying.
would have done some shit like that, you know? You don't think so? You think even
No.
George would have been like, yeah, Jar Jar's all right, but I don't know about
I
this
think
crying.
if he would have done it, then he would have watched it on the replay and he would have been like, maybe not.
Dude, maybe I went a bit too far in some
This
places.
this is like not this. This would be too much. Land Before. Oh no, what is it? Never Ending Story.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I think that you're
that's
exactly
100%
right. Yeah.
that belongs in that world.
But you know, George was such a genre blender. It's kind of hard to know where would he draw the line exactly, right? Because like there's elements of that. I can see some of that stuff in parts of Star Wars, like particularly you know, Jabba's palace and you know, some of the bar scenes, you know, with the creatures and all that. So he wasn't afraid to get weird with it, you know.
Yeah, it's weird.
It is certainly weird. I think it's probably like I was shocked when I heard this shit. I was like, oh my God, bro, that is that's pretty unhinged. Like,
Yeah, I
my,
wouldn't go with that.
no, like you can probably not pull that shit off. That's not gonna play. Okay, next up, we have to talk about, now we're in the third category. We're in my favorite ones,
Right.
the ones that are absolutely fucking ridiculously unhinged.
Let's do it.
And the first one we got to talk about is Jedi Master Baytes. Now, this shit is so silly. I can't believe this is real,
Crazy.
but also I can kind of
Crazy.
believe this is real. Because at the end of the day, somebody would have had to try it, right? Like this is like a meme. It's like you know, it's a very infantile thing. It's probably one of the things that like our chat would absolutely love, guys.
Yeah.
And what I'm talking about here is there's a comic called Star Wars Jedi Council. Here, let me zoom this in for you here. Look at this. Master Baytes and I can handle that. So this is in an actual comic book called Star Wars Jedi Council. It's a prelude to the Star Wars prequels, and Ranley Stradley penned this dialogue with the Jedi referring to this name here, and he came up with it based on the whole motif of the Jedi and the Masters and all that sort of stuff. And so he pulls this little prank, and it somehow makes it past editorial, and so it actually goes through, and so it is technically canon to Star Wars
Master
that
Baytes.
there is literally a Jedi named Master Baytes.
Yeah, and they just put a Y. It's very strange.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is something that we need a cameo of.
Yeah,
I feel like we need Master Baytes. I feel like he needs to, be jerking around, and
that's weird, dude.
And stroking, his beard,
His lightsaber,
and his saber, and
what's his force power?
Force choking
ejaculation?
the chicken. Yeah, he's force choking the chicken, brother.
Stay back.
Stroke of genius, that one. This is these are two of my absolute favorite pieces of lore that I've ever stumbled across when it comes to Star Wars. So, and I didn't tell you these aren't on the script, so I'm excited to talk to you about this. The first one is, do you know about Palpatine's son that's a Cyclops? And do you know that story and how that all happened? Chat, do you know about this? I'm pretty sure his name is literally Triclops.
Yeah, I remember something like this, but
this is one of the goofiest fucking things I've ever seen in Star Wars. So, okay, I'll try to explain
Triclops.
Yeah, so I'll try to explain it like this. So basically, dude, there's a character. So Palpatine has a son in Legends, okay?
Yeah.
And it's a Cyclops. Okay.
Yeah.
But he has an eye on the back of his head. Just like, what the fuck? But anyway, the kid's not a good kid. Okay. The apple fell far from the tree. Or maybe, well, honestly, yeah, that would be terrible. Every time you lean back, you're poking yourself in the eye. It'd be terrible. Yeah. So this kid is a fuck up and not good, And actually, there's some people that think maybe Palpatine was fucking around with midichlorians and maybe he's not really the son. Like maybe it's a clone bullshit thing or whatever. But anyway. Kid fucks some shit up, isn't good. So then Palpatine's like, okay, whatever, we gotta keep this kid hidden. So they I think they pretty much put him in stasis or carbonate or whatever, and they keep him a big secret. So anyway, years down the line, after Palpatine's gone, in the Imperial Remnant age, this kid breaks out or whatever, right? And so the rumor is that this Triclops character is actually out there fucking shit up, and this kid is he's actually the heir of Palpatine. Okay, so what's crazy is at this time they were so afraid that he would come back and take over the Empire because he's the rightful heir. Right. That what they did there, I mean, what would you do? You know what I mean? What would any normal person do? Of course, you make a fake Cyclops clone of Palpatine so that you can become the thing that then takes over and you feed into it. So the Imperial Remnant decides to fucking lean in. So they create a fake cloned Palpatine Triclops, except this time he's an actual Triclops with his eye on the front of his head. Okay.
Wait, so they cloned this kid?
Brother. So no, it's not him. They make a fake clone. So I don't know if it was it's probably not even connected to Palpatine at all. It's probably some just genetic. They just needed a Cyclops, Patsy. You know what I mean? Because they were like, okay, there's this big rumor that Palpatine's son is a Cyclops and he's coming back. And so that spreads across the entire Empire. So the Imperial Remnant is like, oh, we'll just make a Cyclops, have him come in, we'll control him, and then we'll control the entire galaxy. But it gets even weirder. So they propose a plan to marry this fake Cyclops Palpatine's son to Princess Leia. Okay? Because if they this actually fucking happened, guys. Look it up. The shit is bananas.
I don't remember this at all.
And I'll pull up one of the funniest, dude. I gotta pull this picture up here because the ending is one of the funniest, goofiest things I've ever seen in my fucking life, dude.
But Triclops has 3 eyes.
Yeah. Triclops has 3 eyes. Yeah.
He has 1 eye.
Well, no. He has 1 extra eye. He still has his eyes.
Oh.
Yeah. They decide they're gonna marry this Palpatine clone, or the fake Triclops. They're going to marry it off to Princess Leia. And the reason they're doing this is so that it's like sharing of the bloodlines, right? So basically, like if this Palpatine son marries Princess Leia, the entire galaxy is now under the control of them. Okay. So of course, what would you do in this situation? You do the only thing you can do. You make a fake robot Princess Leia, and you make the fake robot Princess Leia marry the fake Cyclops Palpatine son, and then you have the fake robot Princess Leia blast the Palpatine son with laser eyes, killing him. This is actually what fucking happened. At the wedding, the robot Princess Leia activates insta-kill and fucking blasts the fucking fake Cyclops clone of Palpatine in the face.
The bigger question to me is, in a world where technology is so advanced, why the fuck is someone still bald? Why is bald things still happen? Like why is that still happening?
Dude, you would get fucking hyperfixated on that. Yeah, no, I mean it's a fair question.
We got a robot shooting freaking laser beams out of our eyes, and the dude's still bald.
You're missing the point. Theory. They did a fake Cyclops clone of Palpatine and married it to a robot Princess Leia, and she fucking killed him, dude. This is the most fun fucking Star Wars story I've ever heard in my fucking life. It's not even the best one I've got.
Where's Master Baytes in all this?
I don't know where Master Baytes is. This is so fucking crazy. I cannot believe this shit. It actually happened. That they actually wrote this and drew it and printed it and sold it to motherfuckers. This is insane.
It's messed up, dude.
Star Wars. Unhinged.
It's messed up.
Unhinged Star Wars. The last one. Chat, it's been a wild ride. We're at the end of the list. Do you know the story, Theory, of when Luke Skywalker fell in love with a computer that became a Jedi?
No.
Okay, chat, do you know about this story? I can't wait to tell you about this fucking story. So, in Legends, there was a space station known as the Eye of Palpatine. And there was a Jedi, and I don't even know her name. I got to be honest. I don't even remember the names. The story itself is so fucking outlandish. You don't need to know the names. So this Jedi goes to this base, and somehow, in an attempt to try to fight this sentient AI robot base, her consciousness goes like into the computer. Okay, so her body dies. Her consciousness goes into the computer.
Right.
Okay. So years later, Luke Skywalker and his new Jedi Academy and all of his students roll up. And the computer Jedi lady helps Luke Skywalker, and they start to like flirt, man. You know what I mean? Like they start to like little emojis, like hearting each other's messages. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a little like, like you could tell something's going on, right?
Okay.
And so she's like helping him out and like fixing it up and all that sort of stuff. And long and short of it is the planet or the base gets destroyed. But what happens is Luke has this suicidal student that like kind of had a fat ass, but like he would never admit it, right? But this
he had a fat ass?
No, the student, the Jedi, the young sexy Jedi lady had a fat ass.
The young sexy Jedi lady had a fat ass? The robot?
Yes. No, the actual Jedi.
Okay.
Look, the point is, she did Pilates.
Okay.
Very firm.
Okay.
So on the base is being destroyed. This lady with the very firm Pilates ass is suicidal and ends up dying. But here's the catch. Robot Jedi brain lady goes into the body of suicidal but very firm-ass Jedi student lady. Okay, so and it gets weirder. It gets weirder. Okay, so
she essence transfers.
Yes, basically
she episode 9.
Yes. She basically she episode 9s into a very firm. You get it. She episode 9s into this young Jedi thing. Dude, Luke's into it, dude. Luke's fucking into it.
Wait, what is it? What is this?
Luke's into it. Bro, it's called shit. What's the fucking story? Let me look this up. Luke's into it. Dead ass. He's into it, okay? And they start like doing it, flirting, and like, you know, that's all happy-go-lucky. But here's the problem. She can't connect to the Force anymore.
Okay.
Okay. So she can't connect to the Force anymore. And so they go on this journey, this like romantic exploratory journey together where they're trying to find her connection back to the Force. And here's the catch. They can't figure it out except for going to the dark side. So tragically, because she was a computer and then she becomes a human, she can't connect to the Force anymore. She can only connect to the dark side. She ends up like falling out with Luke, going away. She ends up actually getting killed by Abeloth like 10 years later or whatever. But this dead ass happened in the book. And Luke was into it. I got to find what the book was. Hang on. Let me see here.
Children of the Jedi.
At least they went for it. You know what I mean? And, you know.
Wish they didn't.
Yeah, in some ways for sure.
Sequel trilogy ain't looking so bad.
I mean, to be honest with you, some of this stuff is like, wow, I can't believe they did that. But it's a part of the history. You know what I mean? Like, it's a part of the history of Star Wars. And obviously, like, George had somewhat of a control over like what would go into the EU and what would go out, but it's not like every single thing went across this desk. Like, I doubt robot Leia laser things. You know what I mean? Like, I would imagine he was kind of out.
Yeah, I mean, Luke Soka doesn't seem weird after that, man.
Yeah. No, 100%, bro. This shit got super weird.